Brendan reckons he runs the #1 fencing company, but he has a long list of angry customers out of pocket and without fences. Brendan is accused of taking their money and vanishing. When we found him with police, he gave us a spray.
Brendan, good to meet you.
Brendan is the worst tradesperson I've ever come across.
Full of excuses, full of promises, tell you exactly what you want to hear, and doesn't deliver on anything.
Brendan Hawkswell, the fleeing fencer.
Whoa, mate.
If you could say anything to him right now, what would you say?
You've got my money, you maggot.
Brendan Hawkswell's customers claim he's quick to quote and even quicker to take your money.
I'm so upset and I'm so cross with him.
Brendan can run, but he can't hide. And he doesn't like being confronted about his dodgy dealings. All the jobs you've taken money for and you haven't finished.
And he had the opportunity to just build her a fence.
Yeah. That's all your mum wanted, to build a fence.
Jane is a full-time carer for her elderly mother who's been diagnosed with cancer. It seems she's also now become a part-time detective to expose Brendan.
I think he picked his targets well. He took advantage of people who were vulnerable.
All her mum wants is a new fence around her Gold Coast home, and Brendan promised her just that.
We explained that my mother has stage 4 cancer, and so we wanted the ColourBond fence to give her some privacy and security at this time. He said, I want to go above and beyond for your mum.
She found Brendan's business on Facebook. Brisbane Fencing and Decking was apparently offering quality you can trust at a rate you can afford, rated as the #1 fencing and decking company in Brisbane.
He was very quick to respond, was keen to come and do a quote almost straight away. One of these things that he said was, look, we can do this for you in 5 weeks. We have multiple teams.
He came out and quoted Jane almost 19 grand with an $8,000 deposit needed to secure the booking.
We'd had some other quotes. They were all a very similar price. But he stood out, I think, because he really knew what he was talking about.
Once Jane paid the deposit, days of waiting turned into months and the excuses came rolling in.
There were always these very strange updates. Supplier issues, Brendan was sick, staff problems. It started adding up and we got concerned.
These phone calls between Jane and Brendan exposing his empty promises.
Don't you let her down. It will kill her.
You've got my word, it's definitely bloody happening.
Brendan's team eventually took down Jane's mum's old mesh fence, but then he changed his business name to Queensland Fencing and Decking and disconnected his phone.
The number you have called is not connected. Please check the number before calling again.
So $8 grand, you've got no fence, you've just got a couple of poles pointing up in your backyard.
Yeah, and my mother is elder, she goes wandering and she wanders on areas that are really dangerous for her. And that's frightening.
Brisbane woman Cindy also wanted to replace her old fence. She says on paper and in person, Brendan looked like the man for the job.
Got here quick as, local guy, new start-up business. Well, that was the impression he gave me.
We'll probably screw the palings as well, rather than nailing. Just last a little bit longer.
I did a whole lot of research on him. I went through, his ABN, his licences, etc. He looked the part. He had master builders and QBCC licences and that.
Let us know as soon as you can, because we've got to get 10 people to see in the next couple of days. So we'll come back.
So Cindy handed over an almost $3.5 grand deposit and never saw him again.
I worked all year for that money. That was my bonus. So it's very bit disappointing to have lost it so easily.
It's a similar story with Gold Coast man Carl.
So he promised you in October that he'd have your fence by the end of the year. Well, it's now February.
Nothing. Nothing, and he's uncontactable. Everything's disconnected. His phone, his emails, his office, the whole lot.
Carl paid Brendan almost $6,000 for a deposit and materials that never showed up.
So, I was saved for this fence for almost 2 years. Oh, he's just got the gift of the gab. He's a real talkative sort of lad, and pretty much thinking back in hindsight, he never actually said no to anything, even with some difficult questions I had around the fence.
This is how Brendan left another Brisbane family's yard. They paid him around 20 grand for a new fence. He began earthworks and then it was tools down. The mess you're looking at is Brendan's finished product. Documents show Brendan has previously been fined for unlicensed contracting and taking excess deposits. Online, his businesses are now riddled with bad product reviews. It seems he tried rebranding under another company, Cartier Constructions. We checked the business address. It's listed to his local pub.
Will they just screw on? They'll do a triple nail everything.
But recently, he cancelled his Queensland Building and Construction Commission licence, leaving questions from a long list of angry customers. So we tracked Brendan down as he was moving furniture out of his Brisbane apartment. He happened to get stopped by police for a random breath test.
Brendan Hawkswell, the fleeing fencer.
Whoa, mate.
It seems the fleeing fencer was finally brought to a halt.
I require to set your correct name and must give warning as the fence is going to provide the details.
Brendan was feeling a little camera shy.
We just want to ask you about all the jobs you've taken money for and you haven't finished.
And we copped a spray or two.
Brendan.
You claim to be...
Close your window.
Okay, well, you can definitely see the kind of character we're dealing with.
Police handed him a notice to appear in court for driving unlicensed and disqualified, and confirmed he's a person of interest in a number of fraud investigations.
Most of these people won't be able to recover from the sheer amount of money that Brendan took from them.
Brendan Hawkswell, do the job or refund the money. Simple.
Brendan, how do you sleep at night?
And Brendan will face court in March. He's also being investigated by the Office of Fair Trading. And a warning from us, while Brendan is banned from accepting his own work, he can still work as an employee or subcontractor. So if you need a fence, be careful. And police are asking anyone who may have lost money to Brendan to contact Crime Stoppers.